HPD, Behind the Badge, brought to you in the public interest without commercial interruption by Hawaii Pacific Health, creating a healthier Hawaii, and by the Hawaii Community Foundation, working to build equity for all through the Change Framework. Learn more at hawaiicommunityfoundation.org.
Tonight, an unfiltered look at our changing city through the eyes of the men and women of the Honolulu Police Department and a SWAT team member shot by a barricaded suspect. He's never fully recovered, and his long police career is over. Tonight, HPD Behind the Badge.
To Mike 157.
Well, I grew up here. I grew up in Waipahu. Been a police officer for about 12 years. I never wanted to become a police officer until I became one. I just had I had 2 daughters, and it just changed my life. So I was doing construction. I didn't want to do it no more. So somebody told me HPD is hiring, so I tried it out. Went through the process, and it's a good job. I like it. You gotta look the part, you gotta talk the part. Yeah, it's like you gotta be. I guess some people they gotta put on this show like they're acting, right? I don't know. For me, it was kind of like I could just kind of act natural. 'Cause I kind of grew up in that scene. Like my brother and some of my friends, they were into that stuff. I kind of got into it a little bit, when I was a teenager. I kind of knew the lingo. I knew what to look for. I knew how to look, how to act, how to talk. And I was a carpenter before this, so my undercover role would be a construction worker, and I just act like myself because that's what I used to do. I didn't do nothing crazy. I wasn't like deep undercover with the cartel or anything. I'd get cop checked a lot. If I'm buying like street level type drugs, then the guy he'll want me to smoke. But they might think he does look like a cop, and me in uniform right now versus when I was doing undercover stuff, way different. Oh, I've bought drugs from people here in Chinatown, and I walk by them a number of times. They don't recognize me. It's painful. I mean, I got family members that were addicted to crystal meth. My own brother, my dad. That epidemic, it really hits close to me. The good news is that my brother and my dad, they're clean. They no longer use drugs. But I know it's an everyday battle for them. Because even though they've been clean for 15 years, they still have to deal with that addiction.
Your incident has been updated.
I knew I always wanted to be in the law enforcement, whether it be working for federally or locally. I wasn't a person to sit behind a desk or get paper cuts, and I wanted something new every day, something practical, something hands-on. So every day is new. We don't know what we're gonna get each day, what's gonna happen each day. Is that Rachel? Prior to becoming an officer, there were just so many things that I didn't know, like the ongoing issues that were happening in Waikiki. Rachel, hi, police. I think a big issue in Hawaii that we have to deal with is mental illness. And, we didn't go to school for mental illness. We attended the academy to be a police officer. And learning how to de-escalate certain individuals it's a huge job. It can be difficult at times. Thanks for doing that. All right. Bye, Rachel. Have a good day. We have our usuals. And it's sad that we know them by name, date of birth, their social security number, their alpha number. Something that has really helped improve Waikiki is the program called Safe and Sound. And it has combated a lot of habitual offenders from coming back into Waikiki and aiming for high sentencing. Like this individual right here.
Alcohol's not allowed in the car.
He is actually geographic restricted from Waikiki, and as part of the Safe and Sound program is that these individuals they're informed on a paper and in person that they're not allowed to enter Waikiki anymore. And there's individuals who don't care. William. We offer these resources to them, such as going to shelters, requesting an ambulance for them. They decline it all the time. They don't want to go to a shelter. They don't want to abide by the rules at the shelters. They want to have their own freedom. And that's why they're still out here. 5'8". Thank you, William. Have a good day. They put a geographic restriction on these individuals that they're no longer allowed to come back to Waikiki. But I feel that these individuals are not coherent enough to know that. And the bigger picture is that they need help mentally. It's very frustrating, but we have a job to do. Like I said, it's easy to make an arrest. It's just harder to keep them in. But yeah, this is my beat.
Stop touching your private parts. You understand? Kids around here.
We got called to a guy masturbating at the bus stop. I know that the bus stop was in this area. This is like a place that homeless people love hanging out, right here and then on the Mauna Kea side. So we came over here. I saw this guy who I know. He's a constant problem in Chinatown. It's always something with him. And it appeared to be that he was masturbating. So we came here. I told him to get his hands out of his pants. As you saw, he continued to do it. He's probably going to go do something else. We'll get multiple calls for him every day. So when there is something arrestable, we try to hook him, because once we start getting calls for this person, it's going to continue through the day. I think that we need more consequences for repeat offenders. Like this guy that we just saw, it's every day with him, right? So I do have a lot of compassion for the homeless. I've been on hard times in my life as well, but you have to have a want to make your life better.
Grab the paper. Let's go. You gotta move along, bro. Grab the paper. Come on. Grab your ticket. Let's go. Go that way. Okay. Okay, come on. Huh? It's just another day. You know, just dealing with the same guys, just a different location. And then he's probably going to go from here to over there somewhere. And somebody might call us about him again. Hello. You guys all right? You guys need anything? No?
I saw somebody get stabbed last night.
Uh-oh. That must have been scary. Yeah? Did the guy get arrested?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? Oh, good. Good. That happened right here? All right. All right. Morning, how you doing? Good. What's up, my brother? This yours on. Yeah, you need anything, man? You want me to call the shelter for you?
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Should I get me in all that?
Yeah, but like the guys that I work with, they're real good, yeah? So we come every day and we're consistent, right? And we're not just enforcing the law. We're also providing like shelter assistance, medical assistance, you know, point them to different directions, you know, resources, stuff like that. See, so you good? Just getting to know these guys, you know, every day. You build a relationship with these guys, and then you start to find out what this guy's into, you know. Everybody's different, huh? Some guys is drug induced. Some guys, there's mental health issues. Sometimes it's a combination. And I don't know, it's just, it kind of makes you wonder like how they got there. You know, what's their story? Yeah. Hey, but if you need anything, you just let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, God bless, bro. Yeah. Okay. Well, the most badass police officer, patrol police officer so far in my career that I've seen is a female.
If anything, it's just a matter of physical strength, right? So somebody that's much bigger than me, a man, they're probably going to be stronger than me. It's not to say that there aren't very strong police women. Women, I think, as nurturers and mothers, we have this natural ability to talk to people a little bit better. That plus people feel more comfortable sometimes speaking with women. So sometimes we can diffuse the situation just by talking. If it does get crazy, our partners are always close by.
I see it to an advantage where some like female victims at like maybe a sex assault case warms up and is more comfortable with a female officer. And even for male complainants or male suspects, you know, sometimes they warm up to a female officer rather than a male officer. But yeah, working with other women is also a blessing. They can understand what we go through, like female-wise, through our body when it's time to use the restroom, and or just like they're comforting too than guys can be. So it's nice to have that to have partners that are female officers. We came such a long way to have this, and to see that people can see females doing this job, and it gives other females a sense of encouragement. I hope it gives them courage and the ability to know that they too can also do it.
Before I was a cop, I remember seeing multiple police cars pull over a vehicle, and I would think to myself, why do you need all these cops pulling over this car? But now I understand. Like, it's all about safety, right? We all want to get home to our families at the end of the day. And you can never be too safe. You never know if the guy you're pulling over has a gun. You don't know what's in the car. You really don't know.
So whenever an officer initiates a traffic stop, it's just protocol and formalities, and we cover this officer off. One of the most common ways an officer gets injured is during a traffic stop. We don't know what the driver could do. Also, the traffic hazard on the driver's side is important. So the reason for the traffic stop is the expired safety and expired vehicle registration. Upon speaking with the driver is actually driving without a valid license. 5'8", 1 million custody. So in every stop that we do, there needs to be a probable cause to pull a vehicle over or to stop someone on the street. I always tell my riders, you should always have that probable cause to stop somebody. And then you can learn from that traffic stop, oh, he doesn't have a valid driver's license to be on the road, and then you can arrest him for driving without a valid license. Just like the individual we arrested for a $100 warrant, our probable cause to stop him was that we had knowledge that he was geographically restricted from Waikiki. That was our probable cause to stop him. I play music. I go to church, and it keeps my sanity. Like, it keeps me calm and level-headed. And it's important that at the end of the day, they always say you're an officer no matter where you go, but sometimes it's like when you take that uniform off and you're going home, it's important to, you can't bring that baggage with you you have to leave it at the door. The most heartbreaking stuff is just taking things home. I dealt with a drowning, and it was a baby, and it was really hard to, and the baby didn't make it, and it was something that officers on scene were crying about it, and it wasn't until I got home that that I broke down in the shower, but just stuff like that. I think the public kind of forgets that we're human too, and that we have families to go home to. I think that it weighs a lot on us sometimes that when we're not successful in the things that we're supposed to be doing, and it's very frustrating. But it's important that when I tell this to all our beat partners and my trainees, is that at the end of the day, you need to hit that reset button. The next day, you reset, you wear that uniform, and it's a new day, and you have to just remember what you have to remember your training and your experience and hold on to that.
And now the story of SWAT officer Pete Jones. Jones and his police dog were shot by a barricaded suspect. He could no longer keep up with the demands of the SWAT team, and his police career will soon be over.
My name is Pete Jones. I'm 54 years old. I was the one that was involved in a shooting that night, and it was myself and Hunter shot. I still remember what his eyes looked like, and I knew that this is okay, we're gonna have a shootout here. And so I had to decide whether or not he was gonna take the first shot or I was. So I took it upon myself to stop him or try and tell him to give up, and at that time I had to do what I needed to do, and I had to shoot him in order to stop him from possibly hurting somebody else. He fell, he got himself gathered up again, and he was firing his shotgun indiscriminately. And then I felt like in my left leg, I felt like I was standing in water. And then right after that, within a second or two after that, I felt like there was numerous blowtorches to my leg. And I realized at that point that I was shot. I just went straight to the ground because I couldn't stand anymore. Our emergency teams came by and started working on cutting my pants, looking at where the holes were, putting the tourniquet on, trying to stop the bleeding. To them, it didn't seem like the tourniquet was working. So they just went hands-on and tried to put their fingers into the holes of my leg. The ambulance team just pulled up from a block away and started working on me, pulling me into the ambulance.
I answered the phone. And of course, I'm very glad that I did. It was one of my husband's partners, and he let me know that he was shot. That was one of the first words he said. Pete's been shot, but he's okay. He's okay, and they're taking him to the hospital. Definitely the call that you never, ever want to receive when your husband is a police officer. I'm really grateful that he and my husband's other partners did all the thinking for me. They basically said, somebody's coming to pick you up, take you to the hospital. I didn't even have to drive. So I just gathered my things, grabbed my phone, my charger, and then I had to go in and wake up my daughter and tell her that her dad was shot. That was hard. But I didn't want to break down. I knew I had to be strong for her. And so when I told her that, of course, I said he was shot. I knew that it was in the leg. I told her he was okay, but we needed to get to the hospital. I think he knew that I would need to hear his voice, and he said that he was okay. And the next thing he told me was not to have our oldest daughter return home. She had just started up at West Point, the United States Military Academy up in New York, and she was in the middle of basic training those first 6 weeks. And he said very quickly after, like, I'm okay, he said, under no circumstances does she come home. The ambulance backed up and wheeled him out. I was very surprised to see that he was sitting up. And, you know, we quickly kissed and said hello, and they just took him in.
I saw him and I ran all the way over there. I was in tears. I just grabbed hold of him, like just not wanting to let go because I felt like he would die, and I was just so scared.
One of my partners told me he kind of thought that Hunter was feeling a little out of sort. He didn't think much of it. I think everybody was more concerned about me for now, but my partner took the dog and they did a basic check, a health check on him, and they realized that he was bleeding from his neck. So he did get shot in the neck, and then come to find out he was also shot in a vest. So while I was going to the hospital, my partners are taking Hunter to the vet for emergency surgery.
I was in the waiting room. Pete was in for the first of many surgeries he would have over those couple weeks that he was in the hospital. One of his partners that was sitting across from me in the waiting room took a call, and he basically authorized the vet to perform the surgery on Hunter. They didn't tell me before then. I think they knew I was very focused on Pete and everything that was happening. And I remember that after he hung up and he told me that, you know, he said it's either, you know, they try the surgery, he may not survive it, but they could get it, or they don't do anything and it probably ends up killing him. So he authorized the surgery, and of course Hunter did survive. So that's when I first found out that he was shot. And then he was basically kind of in surgery, I think, during the time that Pete was in surgery.
He's a really good friend to me. So I think if he didn't make it, I don't know how it would have been, because he's like always there. And even if I'm like, he's not in the house, just being there for me, he's just super comforting, and he makes me just feel better. And it would have been like, he's like my brother. So if I lost him, I don't know what I would do.
It took me about 1.5 years to get back to at least the minimum standard as far as the physical fitness qualifications. The Specialized Services Division is a unit that is held to a little bit of a higher standard, and especially physical fitness-wise, to the point where I wasn't able to sustain a level of performance that I knew that this division required me to have. You know, I could probably transfer to another division in the department, but I think 28 years of the things that I've seen and the things that I've done, I came to the realization that it's time for me to retire. I have no regret at all, and I would do it again if I had to. My younger daughter had made a comment several years ago and said that, Dad, you're different than the shooting. You're a different person since the shooting.
While he doesn't talk about the incident regularly, it is still in his subconscious, and then it plays out, you know, at night. I don't remember when he kind of started having the nightmares, to be honest, but I do know that he never had them before he got shot, and they're pretty bad sometimes.
It's kind of a hard, you know, luggage package to carry every single day, and I have really great support. My wife, number one, my kids, my partners at work. So, you know, I don't take drugs. I don't take any prescription medication. It's just really support from church, family, and my friends at work and my friends outside of work that's kind of kept me healthy and mentally stable.
He is definitely different since the incident. He shows a greater degree of gratefulness. And he said this, God saved him and his leg for a reason. And so I think he tries to live every day to figure out what that reason might have been.
Of course, like, the job comes with dangers, but I'm really proud of the fact that I can, like, say that I have a dad that, like, would want to go out into these situations and wants to help people. And I think I'm lucky to have a dad that is, like, courageous enough to do that. So although it is extremely dangerous, I don't feel necessarily sorry for him because I know that he wants to do that, and I know that it makes him happy, and, like, it'll make the rest of the community a better community as well.
I hope that the public recognizes that police officers are just like them, in the sense that they have families, they have responsibilities, they have obligations, children, they might be coaching, you know, have hobbies, all of that. But they've sworn an oath to protect our community. And so I think that is not a small thing that they're doing, that every day when they go to work, they are putting their lives on the line for the rest of us. Yeah, I love him to pieces. I mean, he you know, he's so highly trained, he's so smart, but he's just such a gentle soul inside. He's very loving, but yes, he's very much a member of our family, and I couldn't imagine life without him.
Do I love him? Sure. I love him very much. I mean, he sacrificed himself, not knowing what he was getting involved in. Not many dogs can do that. Not many people can do that.
That's all for this edition of HPD Behind the Badge. Thank you for joining us. I'm Matt Levi. Good night.
HPD Behind the Badge, brought to you in the public interest without commercial interruption by Hawaii Pacific Health, creating a healthier Hawaii, and by the Hawaii Community Foundation, working to build equity for all through the Change Framework. Learn more at hawaiicommunityfoundation.org.